I wanted to talk about personal filmmaking. I was talking to a friend of mine, and me and her were talking about just filmmaking and making personal films, and what does that look like, as well as just kind of why we like making that. Why is that the kind of content we gravitate towards? Um, and I don't know, I think personal filmmaking is something that has really changed, especially over like the last 5 to 10 years, because I think with like the emergence of like the folk filmmaking, truly independent filmmaking movements, we've seen filmmakers kind of bridge a gap that used to always be there, which is like the filmmaker used to be this like mysterious guy, like when you hear like Christopher Nolan, you know about him, but you don't really know about him. Like you don't know anything other than, oh, he makes really great movies and he's like this really accomplished director. But now with the folk filmmaking space, you can kind of see that like you can learn about the director as well as learn about their films. If you go on my channel, I have, hundreds of videos where you can understand who I am, my personality, my likes, my dislikes. Before you've even clicked on one of my films for like 30 seconds, you know a lot about me. And I think this is kind of an interesting place we've got ourselves to, because I don't think that's ever been possible in history, is to kind of understand who the filmmaker is while also understanding what their art is. And it's really special, honestly, to see that kind of emerge. I've always gravitated to more personal films. I've always gravitated to making stories that tell things that happened in my real life, whether it's a retelling of it or an emotional place that I once was, or making someone feel how I was feeling. I've made a slew of movies, and if you go through my channel, a lot of them are very, very personal. Specifically, I made this film called Winner. It was the very first day of the year I posted it. And it was just like me just kind of documenting my day on the last day of 2023. And I don't think that's like a movie you could make 10 years ago. I don't think anyone would be interested, but I think people are more interested about the intimate details of someone's life. And I'm working on a film right now called Chlorine Kills, which is it's a total narrative. It's completely a narrative film, but it involves a lot of real elements that happened in my life. My dad passed away, and so he was one of the main actors in the film. So we kind of had this moment where we had to sit down and be like, are we going to scrap the movie, or are we going to engage with the reality of what happened? And that's what we ended up doing, which was taking what we had from the story and then using any elements that we could do to augment that story so that it made sense. And we had to address some things that actually happened in my real life. And that's like the first time I think I've ever really done that. Most of the time it's like more of an emotional place, or tapping into a certain sense of myself. But this film was a little bit different because it was literally like, no, we are going to address things that really happened, and we have to make them make sense in the context of a fictional narrative. And I think that the YouTube filmmaking space, folk filmmaking, is really one of the only places where I feel like you could do that and get away with it. Like, I feel like if this was just a movie that was just going to festivals, people would be like kind of confused. They'd be like, what's going on? But like, people know me. They know that my dad passed away. They know that like I've been going through some incredible hardships the last year. And I think now as a filmmaker, where you can kind of like be yourself, and that can be digestible for the audience to see all this stuff first and then click on the film and be like, oh wow, that was a really great piece of art. I think about Joel Haver's Pretend That You Love Me, and it's a very rich film. But I think it's even more rich when you understand who Joel is. You understand his character through his myriad of videos. Just getting to know him, and how I got to know him personally. I think it's interesting to see a movie like that, just taken out of context, a great film. But I think in context with all the other pieces of media that he created, I think became an even better film. And I think that's like this new modern era that we've reached, where the reality of the filmmaker and the reality of just life in general is connected, and it can be connected. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think it's actually a really good thing. So I don't know. I wanted to talk about personal filmmaking. I wanted to bring a little bit of a perspective on how I'm, making this film, Chlorine Kills. If you have a perspective on it, I would love to hear your thoughts on it. Like, do you like making very impersonal stories? Do you like making very personal films? Let me know. Just write down in the comments, and just give me your perspective. I want to start making more regular videos that are a little bit more, I wouldn't say low effort, but like just kind of more just talking to the camera. So if you do have a thought on it, please share it below. And if you haven't already, like, comment, and share. That would be really appreciated. You have a good one, okay? Bye-bye.